Have you ever questioned your ability to notice what stimulates you in terms of pleasure, and how do you feel after experiencing it? Are you addicted to something? Why is the neurochemical dopamine linked to pleasure and addiction? What's the relationship between pleasure and addiction? If life were only about pleasure, we would logically end it with a drug overdose. Civilizations aren't built solely on pleasure. Take food as an example. If you believe you have the right to consume food, which kind is truly aligned with that right? Junk food that offers only momentary pleasure, or healthy food that sustains life? As humans, we have the right to eat, but limitless pleasure? That's not a right. Some philosophers actually taught that the highest pleasure comes from the freedom from pain and self control. Real joy is found in moderation, in wise choices, not excuses. And Friedrich Nietzsche argued that struggle and self-overcoming are essential to personal greatness. Discipline, not comfort, build the self. Becoming aware of your pleasure triggers gives you power. Once you become aware of what stimulates pleasure in you, you gain the ability to control it. Here is another question. Why should we control our desire for pleasure? Because pleasure cannot be the goal. To grow, you need discipline. Then growth leads to strength. Psychologists coined the concept of flow, a deep satisfaction you feel when you are fully immersed in a challenging task. Ironically, activities that require effort and focus often bring more lasting joy than those that offer instant gratification. The pleasure trap short circuits this by promising quick rewards at the cost of deeper fulfillment. Maybe you should like what triggers pleasure for you. Anything that triggers pleasure without purpose can become an obstacle to your real goals. Does a single man benefit from sexual triggers? Do junk food cravings help someone struggling with weight? The Stoics believed that virtue, living in harmony with reason, is the only true good. Everything else, including pleasure, is indifferent unless it contributes to a life of integrity. Pleasure and addiction are deeply connected. Becoming aware of your pleasure triggers and mastering the pleasure trap, that's the true power. Becoming aware of your pleasure triggers gives you power. Once you become aware of what stimulates pleasure in you, you gain the ability to control it. Dopamine doesn't just respond to rewards, it anticipates them. This means your brain learns what cues signal pleasure even before the pleasure happens. You are not just reacting to ice cream or scrolling social media, you are reacting to the sight, the thought, the context. Awareness is the first disruption. Start tracking what triggers pleasure in your life. It's a notification sound, a smell, certain items of day, people, spaces. Keep a trigger log. Write down what sparks a craving and how you respond. Awareness turns impulsive reaction into intentional decision. As Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Awarenesses bring examination, and examination brings freedom. Ask yourself, do these triggers lead to fleeting gratification or lasting value? Does this momentary pleasure take me closer to who I want to be? Am I choosing the trigger, or has the trigger already chosen me? Once you identify these patterns, you are no longer playing defense. You become the architect of your actions, and that's more than raw discipline. It's true power.